Hello and welcome to the Untitled channel. Today, this is my comparison of the Samsung Galaxy S6 and HTC One M9. Now, you may be asking, Scattervolt, why in the world are you doing a comparison video between these two brand new phones if you're all about PC technology and PC gaming? Well, the thing is that one of these new phones may actually be my daily driver for the next year or two. So I thought within doing all this research that it'd be pretty handy for you guys to know the differences between these two new phones. So for specs for each of these phones, the Samsung Galaxy S6 will be rocking out a 5.1-inch display, and the HTC One M9 will have a 5-inch display. Now, as for resolutions for each of these phones, the Samsung Galaxy S6 will be rocking out a 2560 by 1440p display, and the HTC One M9 will have a 1920 by 1080p display. So anyways, for both of these phones, the Samsung Galaxy S6 will obviously have the more higher resolution display, and I'll have a higher pixels per inch. Now for processors for each of these phones, the Samsung Galaxy S6 will have a 64-bit 8-core Exynos processor, while the HTC One M9 will have a quad-core Snapdragon 810. So between these two CPUs, of course, the Samsung Galaxy S6 Exynos 8-core 64-bit CPU will of course be pulling out ahead in terms of performance. But anyways, still, the performance between both of these phones are still going to be extremely fast, so really there is going to be that much of a difference between each of these phones. In addition to the processor, each of these phones will be rocking out 3 GB of RAM, which I love, because really, actually, from my Nexus 5 experience, I've been seeing that more RAM on phones is actually a really nice thing, because really the amount of apps that you're going to have running in the background nowadays is going to be stacking up, and it's just going to become more and more and more. So really, more RAM is a really nice thing to have on both of these phones. So 3 GB of RAM on each of these phones is a really nice thing to see. Now, as for the cameras, the Samsung Galaxy S6 will have a 16 megapixel camera on the back and a 5 megapixel camera on the front, while the HTC One M9 will have a 20 megapixel camera on the back and a 4 megapixel camera on the front. Now, as for the Samsung Galaxy S6, it'll be able to hold up to 128 gigabytes of storage, while the HTC One M9 will be able to hold up to 64 gigabytes of storage. However, a twist is that the Samsung Galaxy S6 cannot have expandable storage thanks to its glass and metal front and back construction, while the HTC One M9 will actually be able to have expandable storage, which is really cool. Actually, it's kind of a nice swap between both phones. Now finally, for each of the batteries on these phones, the Samsung Galaxy S6 will have a 2550 milliamp hour battery, and for the Edge version, it'll have a 2600 milliamp hour battery, while the HTC One M9 will have a 2850 milliamp hour battery. Now, the thing that I'm concerned about in battery in terms of the Samsung Galaxy S6 is that from looking at the LG G3 and the Nexus 6, even though both phones had a high resolution display and a really large battery, they both still managed to pull out some pretty poor battery life. So as for the Samsung Galaxy S6 having this really high resolution display and not really having that big of a battery, I'm a little bit concerned if it'll have good battery life or not. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, favorite, subscribe, and all good stuff. And this is the Scattervolt channel signing out.